Almost ready. How you doing? All right. The lighting's weird in here, huh? Is that better? No. So, good morning. How are you? Everything's a little discombobulated this morning. Little better? Yeah. It looks like a window. Those are my charts. I don't know what's going on back there. All right, let's get going. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. Welcome to Forex.Today, the YouTube community of more than 21,000 foreign exchange traders. We gather here today to conduct technical and fundamental analysis with the overriding goal of planning our trades in advance, because trading is risky, not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results. Please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term. Never risk money you cannot afford to lose. Let's go. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. So, hope you had a good weekend. Back to scalping oil, huh? This is what we do. Busy stuff, busy time of the year. But we have our geopolitical situation. So anyways, we can do a little lowdown on the macro. Do you feel risk on or risk off? How do you feel? You got to have that. Okay, you have to have that all lined up. You're not going to be able to move the market. You're you're not that big of a trader. I know you don't like it when I say that. You're like, Wayne, I'm a big boy too. Look, you can't move the market. What can I say? So here's what we need to do to make sure your trading lines up, or at least your expectations line up with the reality, huh? Yeah. And so when you look at VIX on 2 time frames, US oil on 3 time frames, S&P 500, 2-year yield, Dow, NASDAQ, 10-year junk bonds, the US dollar index, the German stock market, the 210 spread, investment grade bonds, Nikkei, and gold. I think I said junk bonds, didn't I? And you look at all of these things over 3 time frames, this is what you get. Now, look at this update that I did over the weekend for you, because you're my sweet baby. I love you. We have the daily assessment. So right now we're flat, but overall we're risk off. I think that's helpful. Today versus this month. It's actually not this month. It's this month, this week, and this day weighted. So it's not even, this is the monthly. So, that's that. That's a nice, helpful, right? So for today, it's kind of flat. So far. It's measuring Asia, it's measuring Europe. So that's nice. So you should be trading as if you were generally risk off. Oh, look at that change. How nice. See, it's changing in real time. Make sure your trading lines up with what you're doing, huh? Let's get a quick headline update as well. Let's do that. US dollar, Canadian dollar falls as risk sentiment improves and resistance holds.
Euro area, industrial recovery delayed by sector shocks. Societe Generale. 2022 parallels. Iran oil shock likely shorter but more globally disruptive. U.S. industrial production rises slightly more than expected in February. U.S. February industrial production versus plus 0.2% expected.
United States industrial production, MOM, registered at 0.2% above expectations, 0% in February. United States capacity utilization above expectations, 76.2% in February, actual 76.0%.
Factbox reactions to Trump's call for help to secure Strait of Hormuz.
Faux show. So let's take a look at your favorite. I know this is your favorite. Are you guys trading euro dollar today? take a look at the chart. This is a day trade, 15-minute chart. Looks all right. Okay, maybe climbing. Let's go to this euro dollar over here. By the way, this is my Trader's Way MT4 platform. Couple of things. There's a partnership between Trader's Way and TRADARS. Hey, makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah. So if you execute your trades through Trader's Way and you do all your analytical planning on TRADARS, you can have a discount on your spread. How about that? Every day, at the end of the day, Trader's Way looks at how much you traded and gives some of the spread back to you. It's almost like you're your own introducing broker kind of thing. Just a little something, something, a little love back at the end of the day. I know it's a hard day, but you know what? A gumdrop, a gummy bear at the end of the day is just nice. I mean, you have to go to work and do your job, but a little something, something at the end of the day is nice, and particularly from the boss. So, anyways, yeah, and then of course the other thing is our chart template. So I'm going to one of the things I'm actually doing, I got a lot of little side projects going on, but I'm going to take all of my chart templates and indicators and redo them, clean them up, and then create a new installer, and therefore you can install on your MT4, MT5 very, very quickly. But I think it's time for an update, a refresh, a clean. But I can get you those. I mean, why? Maybe I should just put up the old stuff. But my thought here is if you have an account with Trader's Way, you can just have access to downloading the chart templates, and your charts will look like my charts. How about that? Yeah. All right. Just something to say, hey, thank you for your loyalty, you know? So yeah, here we are trying to get back to the top. Look at this one. We have we were, hang on, where's my drawing tool? Epic. Yeah, Jim, for those that have already signed up for trading with our execution partners, already have that implemented. It's already happening. It's already automatic. So a small portion of your spread gets put back in your account, and not as equity, as cash. It's like a cash rebate. Yeah. Cool. So did my drawing tool pop up? No. Yeah. Let me try again. Look at this. It's just not even opening. Yeah, we got this Microsoft forced update last week. And everything's been terrible since then. So, like, my drawing tool doesn't open up. Yeah. I wonder what Microsoft does when they're like, hey, you know what? Everything's working great. Let's go ahead and ruin. Let's go ahead and waste everyone's time. All right. Hang on. Let's try it again. Epic. Epic pen. Let's see. There we go. Finally. All right. So what we had planned earlier, so this was a long time ago. This is like early February. We were hoping for something like this, right? And then we were sort of in this zone, and I said, look, if it breaks, then you want to look for a pullback. And it's one of these trickier scenarios. It happens frequently, not all the time, not a majority of the time. But instead of breaking, I mean, it kind of did, but, we're splitting hairs here. What it really did in my eyes is consolidate. Break, consolidate. Yeah, break, consolidate. But down is down, huh? Yeah, down is down. Okay. So, for example, I said I want to update the templates. I thought maybe it'd be interesting to see if I can program a way for the bias pivots to flip without you doing it. Now, I designed the bias pivots purposely for you to flip it. Oops, I know. Because for me, I wanted you to have intent. So you say, well, Wayne, I'm a bear on this. Euro's been a dog for a few months, if not a few decades, right? So that's nothing new here, but in particular, going back to early February, definitely a change in direction here. So you set your pivots. Okay. Double check your time frame here. These are swing trades. Okay. So if you were a bear last week on euro dollar, and it didn't take much for you to be a bear, right? Right. This is the sell zone. In fact, it's an aggressive sell zone. Okay. And but nonetheless, sell zone. And it targets conservative to aggressive right here. So if you're a swing trader, and I love swing trading, love it. That was the trade plan. And you're like, well, Wayne, that's already happened. Thank you, Captain Obvious. Dude, you are grumpy. But any case, if you're going to rinse and repeat, let me give you the plan. Hey there, boo-boo. 112.5. What do you stink? Smell like a plan? Hey. Yep. Guess it's just you and me, Jim. It's the Wayne and Jim show. Yeah, we're so close in getting the coaching portal done. So we had 2 rooms today. So obviously that was a problem. But the good news is it's easily remedied, and what caused the glitch was the solution, which in a weird way is a good thing. Right? The solution is glitching the old problem. So I think we'll be tickety boo tomorrow, maybe even today. I have a board meeting this afternoon, so that'll take up some of my time. Cool. So, anywho, how about Bitcoin? Who likes Bitcoin? Anybody trade the biddy? Biddy, biddy, biddy. Can't you see? Sometimes your trades just hypnotize me. And I just love your volatile ways. Yeah, at 74 first year. We were at the 60s, right? And now we're climbing the stairway to heaven. Yep. A lot going on here. Let's clean this up and say, I think we've made a higher high, higher low, and trying that. So we can be a bull here if you want to be. So you go to, we will do swing trading bullish bias. Cool. Last week's bullish swing trade was buy here, exit here. You see, pre-labeled and everything. It's so gorgeous, and even the conservative target was respected. Cool. So we got the right tools, but that's the higher high, higher low I was talking about. So our target this week is 79. Are we actually going to tickle 80? Really? Wouldn't that be something, huh? Just emotionally. Just emotionally. Hey, 80's nice. So right, if you want to look at it more like daily kind of thing, this is probably what we're trying to do over the next few weeks. Okay, cold as ice. Okay, and now maybe this way. What do you think? That would be risk on. You'd need a weak US dollar, you'd think. Right now, the dollar's been strong. Or maybe it's just euro is a dog with fleas. Some of the best trading's been euro Aussie. Oh, lovely. With your smile so worn and your teeth so green. Yeah. Yeah, well, it should. It should. It makes sense. Yeah, we discussed that in our swing trading kind of setups last week. Do you want to do treasuries? Nah. Who wants gold? Gold, 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 gold. Well, it's the same trade, right, Abdullah? It's the same trade. You're like, well, there's nothing but yen and Swissy. Yeah, no, but yen and Swissy are funding pairs, so it's the same thing. Yeah. Okay. Let us go to commodities, and we'll open up our Goldilocks, and we'll go out to the no diggity, no doubt daily. Okay, lower low, lower high, but okay. Don't know. It's just that's how I break things down. Okay, Abdullah Ali. I say dollar, Swissy, and yen are funding pairs. Generally, they usually are impacted in the same way based on risk on or risk off analysis. So that's why we start with the risk tool, right? The risk radar. Oh, what happened over there? How long has it been that way? What's going on? There we go. All right, so I figure out risk on or risk off first based on looking at market conditions. Now, I just happen to look at like 75 different variables, but whatever, I need to know risk on or risk off. Once I've made that decision, then I understand the correlation between risk and dollar Swissy yen. So in a situation, if yen is weak, I would assume, now it's not always true, or it's not always 100% true, but in my general rule of thumb for doing my analysis is that those two pairs would have some level of congruency. If Aussie yen is up, Aussie Swissy is up also. Now, to which degree, that changes. How quickly? Usually the same time. But when you look at the correlation coefficient, it could tell you, well, if Aussie yen is up, Aussie Swissy might be up 72% of that amount of volatility, but in the same direction. Yeah. And then dollar is usually that way too. Now, of course, we have some unusualness in our market, but in my mind, if somebody says, well, I'm long Aussie yen, and someone else says, well, I'm long Aussie Swissy, in my mind, I just translate that to it's the same trade. You just, same trade. Now, someone really astute would look at Swissy yen first and find out which one is weaker. So if Swissy yen is going up, I'd go Aussie Swissy first. No, I'd go Aussie yen first. Sorry. But at this point, we're not talking about a lot of difference. So you might as well just do one. Anyways, let's mark up our charts. Well, yeah, I mean, you could, that's another way of doing it. You take half the lot size on both, but that's also the way that I trade. I prefer to build a basket. So, like, we know factually Aussie's been the best thing to be trading for 3 months now? So I would build a basket and, have dollar, yen, maybe Swissy or something else, or some other thing, maybe Kiwi if I was bearish, right? But you want to know your direction here. You want to be a bull. Then maybe take the things you're bearish. So, yeah, bearish on yen for sure. Kiwi probably. Dollar, I don't know with geopolitics. Not so sure. But this is how you do your analysis. And you start building up your plans and then you accumulate. do you want to own Aussie? So you could scalp it, make 20 or 30 pips today, or for the last 3 months, you could be accumulating Aussie dollar and have a position. Now, that's how a professional would do it. So, anyways, now we can go to maybe a smaller time frame. Yeah, definitely still bearish. Okay, so last week I did this. And last week I said as low as 4899. That's the first target. 4899. How about the psychological level of 5,000? Yeah, well, that's not a mathematical level. I mean, 5,000 psych level could be important. I just don't have any math for it. 4899 to 4859 is the logical target that we set on Thursday of last week. What day is it today? Is it Monday? Uh-huh. So we're 3/4 of the way there, and now we're bouncing at the one level of support, being the psych level, that could hold this up, right? Here's the psych level. All right. So by and large, it's done. So that, not quite achieved last week's goal, because last week's goal was this. Okay. Cool. So what's this week's goal if you're a bear? Same. It's okay. It ends up being the same because last week had very little volatility. So we would expect, if market conditions stay the same, then there'll continue to be very little volatility. So because pivot points are essentially implied volatility. So it's like, yeah. So we'll probably go down to that 4,850 area, unless it reverses now because of the psych level. Could it do that? You know what? A lot of people trade the market emotionally. What can I tell you? It wouldn't be logical, but I guess the psych level, yeah, sure. I mean, it makes sense. It doesn't make it logical. Like, what do you care if it's 5,000? What do you care? Right? Remember when people were talking about euro dollar parity? I'm like, who cares? Why not 80 cents? Like, who cares about the parity? Sell the euro. That's what matters. You know? Anyways. So let me draw it again. Well, I guess I don't. I mean, we're just going to extend our target here a little lower, and it doesn't get us that far. I mean, you can put it down here if you want, but I'm going to put it. I'm going to make it that. And so, not a big whoop whoop or anything. If you look at it this way, it's just the minor support. And no, that's not an Epstein joke. How about the S&P 500, y'all? Traders Way has S&P 500 and a whole bunch of others. The stock market. Okay, that is our NASI, but I have to turn the camera on. Hang on. Boom, boom. So I have NASDAQ, Dow, and here's the S&P 500. And, broke through that minor support, which could be a major problem. So I got to put myself on high alert here. What does that mean? So I have a board meeting, right? I advise charitable endowments. And so they're going to ask, they're going to have fear. What about the war? What about this? What about that? Well, the first time this year we've made a lower low. So should I be concerned? Yeah, I'm concerned, but I'm already have the endowments hedged. So we're fine. But that's not good, because what is the extreme low here? If the worst of the worst happens, besides, apocalypse, that is possible for the S&P 500. It's not my opinion. It's not my base case. It's not even my worst case. But what the chart says, you see the difference there? What the chart says is that's possible. Now, what Wayne says is, well, before that happens, 62, okay, and up is my base case. So, what do? Is it going to be an on day or an off day? So this is why TRADARS has these tools, because all you do now is set your bias pivots. So let me show you how to do that. Let's do a vote. We will start a poll, and I'm just going to make it simple. Risk on or risk off. Binary. Tell me your opinion. Okay. And whoever wins this vote, I will set the trades up. Meanwhile, we'll see if there's any new headlines that have come out. Swiss franc, intervention risk and safe haven role, Rabobank.
U.S. March NAHB Housing Market Index 38 versus 37 expected. United States NAHB Housing Market Index came in at 38, above forecasts 37 in March.
U.S. dollar, Canadian dollar drifts lower as Canada CPI shows mixed inflation signals ahead of Bank of Canada decision.
U.S. dollar, correlations shift with oil and equities, BNY.
Dollar adds emphatically to war-led gains.
Euro, U.S. dollar, energy shock keeps pair under pressure, MUFG. Trump will hold a news conference later today.
All right. Did you guys really... Dude, that many people did not vote. That's amazing. All right. 50-50. You guys suck. Oh, dang it. And for those that didn't vote, you suck. Yeah.
Canada.
All right.
Canada, core inflation easing, but supply risks persist.
Yeah, I
RBC.
turned that off. Where is that coming from? Oh, over here. Yeah, so I guess and I meant for today, but maybe I didn't say this week. You're like, well, I'm risk off this week, but I'm risk on today, or it's too early to say, or yeah. So you got to just keep your eyes on the variables. Right now, you should be bearish but neutral. Okay. I'm not sure why you're risk on. I mean, look, it's a half of 1 out of 10. I think this can actually technically get to 12 or something, but that is extraordinarily rare. So half? A butterfly could flap its wings and make that a negative score. Yeah, bro. Yeah. Indeed. So there's our heat map. Yeah, hopefully the fish jump into the canoe, right? Yeah. So, anyways, peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May your profits be above average. That just happened.